Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a story that's really making some waves in the auto world.
It definitely is.
We're talking about the comeback of a true icon, the all-new Tata Sierra.
Yeah, the anticipation for this one has been huge.
So our sources for this dive are these high-energy analyses we've seen, all focused on the Sierra's design, its tech, and maybe most importantly, its projected price.
That's the kicker, really.
Exactly. So our mission here is to get past the marketing fluff. We want to unpack the facts and figure out, what are the big strategic choices Tata's making here? What makes this SUV actually stand out?
And is the hype justified for you, the person who might actually buy one?
Right.
Because we're not just reading a spec sheet. We're trying to understand the synthesis of it all. You've got this heritage design, this futuristic tech, and a value-focused strategy.
It's a balancing act.
A huge balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
Past meets future, premium looks meet an attainable price. That's the whole game. We need to see if they've actually pulled it off.
Okay, so let's start where all the excitement begins. The look. The visual identity.
The first impression.
Yeah. I mean, the original Sierra, decades ago, it was one of India's first real attempts at a modern SUV. It was a big deal.
It really was. It defined a whole generation of drivers who wanted something, rugged, but also kind of premium.
And the news sources all seem to agree this new model holds on to that DNA. They keep mentioning its iconic boxy charm.
And that upright stance.
Yeah.
Which is such a deliberate choice.
How so?
Well, in a world where everything is becoming this sort of sloped aerodynamic crossover.
Right. They all look the same.
Exactly. So to embrace that blocky, rugged profile is a statement. It immediately says durability, space, go-anywhere attitude.
And nostalgia. People who remember the original, they remember that road presence.
That's the emotional gravity.
Right.
By keeping that shape, Tata is tapping right into that well of recognition. It's smart.
But it's not just a carbon copy of the old one, right? They've managed to blend that legacy with now.
Totally. And the sources point to some really specific things.
Like the wraparound rear glass. That's the big one.
That's the one. The unmistakable visual signature of the original. That curved side and rear window.
It's brilliant because you see that and you instantly know what you're looking at.
It's a direct callback. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they contrast that classic element with something super modern, like those connected LED daytime running lights.
The light bar across the front.
Right across the whole front.
Yeah.
So the shape feels nostalgic, but the details feel completely contemporary. It doesn't look retro. It looks current.
I see that. The sources call the result a modern, muscular stance.
Which gives it, as they say, pure road presence. It stands out by sticking to a classic formula, but just executed with modern finesse.
It's a clever strategy, using the lights, which are expensive parts, to signal that it's a high-tech premium vehicle without losing that classic shape.
Exactly. And that whole high-tech premium idea gets turned up to 11 when you move inside the car.
Okay, so let's go from the rugged exterior to the interior. The sources pivot hard here. They don't just call it a cabin, they call it a life space.
Which is a very specific, very modern term in car design.
And this is where the tech really jumps out at you. The dashboard?
The triple screen setup.
You mean, come on, a triple screen. You get your digital cluster for the driver, of course, the big central infotainment screen.
And a dedicated screen just for the passenger.
That's the part that feels like it's from a much, much more expensive car.
Well, that's the point of calling it a life space. The idea is that the car isn't just for getting from A to B anymore. It's an extension of your home or your office.
The third space.
Especially in cities with heavy traffic. That cabin needs to be a refuge, a place you can actually live in. And that digital real estate, those 3 screens, that's how you create that immersive feel.
It's a massive statement of intent, especially for a car in this price bracket.
A huge statement.
Yeah.
It tells you they're all in on that feeling of connectivity and luxury.
And the other features back that up. The sources mention dual-zone climate control.
So driver and passenger can have their own settings. Again, a premium touch.
And that massive panoramic sunroof. The whole roof is basically glass.
Right. So you have this tough, boxy shell on the outside. But inside, it's all light, air, and technology. It's that contrast. Adventure on the outside, serenity on the inside.
They even mention the flush-fitting door handles.
The ones that retract into the body.
Yeah. That's straight out of the ultra-luxury playbook. It's a small detail, but it screams high-end.
It really does. Which brings us to the elephant in the room.
The big comparison.
The one everyone is making.
The sources keep calling it the Mini Defender.
And you can see why. The rugged, purposeful design, the visual link to the Land Rover Defender is just impossible to miss.
And Land Rover is owned by Tata, so it's all in the family, so to speak.
It is, but that's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
The name gives it instant desirability, but it also creates an expectation.
An expectation of hardcore off-road ability.
Exactly. And the sources don't really suggest it's going to match a Defender in the mud. The resemblance is more about the aesthetic, the road presence.
So is that a problem? Is calling it the Mini Defender setting the bar too high for you?
I don't think so. I think Tata's being very clever about it. The comparison is a marketing tool.
Okay.
It says you can have this incredibly desirable look, the look of rugged luxury, without putting for the extreme off-road engineering that you probably don't need anyway.
And that brings us to the price. This is where the story just explodes.
It's the dramatic twist.
So the Land Rover Defender, which has that same kind of vibe, what does that cost? In India, it starts at over a crore.
Right. Over 100,000 US dollars.
Yeah.
Easy. It's a luxury vehicle. Full stop.
The estimated starting price for this new Tata Sierra, based on our source analysis, is 11.49 lakh.
Just let that sink in.
It's not, I mean, it's a staggering difference. You're getting that powerful look, that presence, that high-tech interior.
For maybe 1/8 the price of its visual inspiration.
What does that do to the market?
It blows it wide open.
Yeah.
This is a market disruptor. Tata is basically democratizing aesthetic luxury. They're making that rugged, premium style genuinely attainable.
So they're targeting people who want the look, but don't need or can't afford the full-fat off-road machine.
Precisely. They're shifting the focus from pure capability, which only a few people use, to road presence and interior comfort, which is what most people actually care about every day. It's a brilliant value play.
Okay, so that explains the hype. But design and price aren't everything. A comeback has to be built on solid fundamentals.
Right. Safety and performance.
And our sources really stress this. It's a Tata. And that brand name has become synonymous with unbeatable safety.
The expectation is sky high. The sources are pretty clear. They expect us to aim for a 5-star BNCAP rating.
For you listening, BNCAP is the Bharat New Car Assessment Program, India's own crash test standard, which is now aligned with global benchmarks.
And getting 5 stars there is non-negotiable for buyers today. It tells you the physical structure of the car is solid. It's not just about the fancy features. It's about real protection.
The sources also confirm it will have Level 2 ADAS features.
Advanced driver assistance systems. So things like lane assist and adaptive cruise control, partial automation.
So you have crash protection with the 5-star rating and crash prevention with the ADS.
That's the modern safety equation. Passive safety from the structure and active safety from the technology. It builds a huge amount of consumer trust, which is critical when you're relaunching a legend.
And finally, what's under the hood? The power choices.
This part is really strategic. The sources say it's launching with both petrol and diesel engine options.
Which is pragmatic. It gives it immediate broad appeal to people who aren't ready to switch to electric yet.
But, and this is the key part, the sources confirmed that an all-electric EV version is promised for later on.
So they're future-proofing it.
Completely. It signals total commitment. They launch with what works now to get sales volume, and they have the EV ready for when the market shifts. It's a comprehensive, hedged bet on an icon. They're covering all their bases.
So let's bring this all together for you.
Yeah.
What does it all mean? The sources are painting a pretty clear picture.
They really are.
You're getting the powerful, rugged style of a luxury off-roader. You're getting a futuristic, tech-filled life space inside, all wrapped up in a legendary nameplate.
And it's all backed by Tata's reputation for rock-solid safety and, of course, that incredible pricing.
The sources are basically saying this isn't just a new car, it's a monumental comeback, both emotionally and strategically.
The final synthesis is pretty clear. The ultimate proposition here is getting the look, the feel, the presence of a super high-end vehicle.
But paired with attainable value and modern safety.
It just lowers the cost of entry for that aspirational, rugged design that so many people want.
And that leaves us with a provocative thought for you to chew on, something the sources hint at. Does a car really need a luxury price tag to deliver a genuine sense of rugged, purposeful luxury, to give you that overwhelming road presence?
Or has Tata just proved that you can democratize aspiration? That with the right design choices, you can deliver that feeling for a fraction of the cost?
Something to think about next time you see a Defender and a Sierra side by side on the road. Thanks for diving deep with us.